Forge FC is ready to take the pitch.
Simply stunning stuff.
And finally, their goal. My word, what a rocket.
Now, let's get 3 keys to the match with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network.
Hey, Forge fans. 3 keys to the match presented by Volkswagen. However, or wherever you may be watching and or listening, your number one spot for Forge content is here, and I'm about to give it to you. Now, I don't know what that was. Match day preview available now, where we break down this matchup a little deeper and get more into the Cavalry side of things. The interview with Todd Saloff, who covers Cavalry FC out in Calgary. I had a chat with him. So go check that out right after you check out these 3 keys to the match for Forge FC. Now, this matchup, Friday night, 9 o'clock, in Foothills County, Cavalry FC hosting Forge FC. These 2 clubs met 2 weeks ago. And that match was big for Cavalry. They talked about trying to maybe right the ship. Things weren't looking so good. Here's a club that was in the top seed on the table for weeks on end, looking just dominant and unstoppable. They have not been that in a while. So with that, Forge FC, the complete opposite. 6 wins in a row. They won 9 of their last 11. Top of the table, a pretty healthy lead on Cavalry, but they're alone in top spot right now. 35 points, 3 points more than second and third place, which is Pacific and Atletico. And Forge has matches in hand on both of those clubs. They have 2 matches in hand on Cavalry, who trail Forge by 4 points now. But the bigger concern for Cavalry is Valor, who beat them 2-0 in Cavalry's last match. They only have a 5-point lead. Cavalry hanging on to that final playoff spot, only 5 points separating Cavalry and Valor. And Valor's played 1 less match, and those 2 clubs are going to play again. So Cavalry needs points, and they do not want to lose at home to their rivals, Forge FC, again. So you can be sure it will be a motivated squad. So what will Forge have to do to secure 3 points? Key number 1, silence the set pieces. Cavalry FC, a chunk of their offense this season, have come from set pieces. Now, here's Forge head coach and technical director Bobby Smyrniotis talking about those set pieces.
You know what you're going to get most of the times with them, and how they play, and they've shown a consistency in that. Maybe the results haven't been there lately, but the consistency in what they're doing and what they do on the ball, I think, has been there throughout the season. They're a team that's scored 50% of their goals from set pieces. That's a big thing for them, and how they get further up the field, and whether they finish with an attack or try and draw a foul, and they do that very well. And then they put a big effort into how they work their set pieces, whether it's a free kick or a corner kick, and that's a big number of 50% coming from there. So, we expect a little bit of the same from them.
It's something Cavalry relies on. These are 2, as much as people like talking about the similarities between Cavalry and Forge with, the coaches having started, soccer programs and academies that are now the feeder system to their clubs. And there are definitely some things in common that they have. But in terms of style of play, 2 very different clubs. Now, it's not just about set pieces, which, by the way, set chances off set pieces. Cavalry leads the league, and it's not even close. They've created 45 chances off of set pieces. Forge have created 25. So 45 to 25. Again, they play different games. 1v1s, Calgary's not the kind of club that's going to force the issue. They're more of a take what is given to you type of club, whereas Forge is more of a chance creation club. Cavalry leads the league in shot attempts and chances from outside the box. Not just that, but goals from outside the box. They have 7 goals outside the box. Forge has 4. So, and Forge leads the league in goals inside the box. So Forge is coming at you. They're connecting plays, and they're making runs, and they're trying to get in behind the defense, and they're trying to create a little bit of havoc inside the box. Cavalry's doing things a little different. This is a league where you're going to face a lot of clubs that use that low block, that all-out defensive style. Forge is trying to get through that and get behind it. Cavalry's not even, it's kind of like if they're going to give us the space, we're just going to take it. We're going to take some longer shots. We're going to rely on some set pieces. We're going to score with our heads. And it's worked for Cavalry this season. How sustainable is that? I mean, I guess time will tell. But if you're Forge, if you can silence those set pieces and add a tag to that and long range shots, Forge is looking pretty good, because Cavalry is not a club that really beats you any, in any other way. So that's key number one. Key number two, seeds of doubt. If you're Forge, start sowing those seeds, because Cavalry has had a time. We mentioned it a bit off the top, but we can go a little more in depth here. Cavalry have one win in their last 5 matches, and that came against Edmonton at home. They've lost against Valor 2-0, lost to Forge 2-1, lost to Pacific 3-0, lost to York 1-0. So they've also been clean sheeted quite a bit recently. And Cavalry have 2 wins in their last 8 matches. They are struggling. When a team is struggling like that, you just, it's human. You're going to lose some confidence. Forge needs to jump on that. Sow those seeds of doubt. And they did it last match. Cavalry looked great out the gate. They scored first. They scored early. Everything was looking up. As soon as Forge found their game and got that next goal, it was just Forge controlled for the rest of it. That doubt was sown, and Cavalry struggled. So try to do that again. Get Cavalry doubting themselves, and you can do that. You can do it in multiple ways. I mean, you can do it. Forge can do it just by playing the game they normally play, that possession attacking game. But listen, Cavalry is a quality squad. That's not always going to work according to plan. If not, get a lead. Just make Cavalry question things a little bit and have them drop in confidence. You don't want Cavalry feeling confident at home with their fans. Those seeds of doubt also work with the fans. Quiet them down, make them a little nervous, and have them kind of second guessing the season and whether Cavalry's as good as they've looked. Just sow those seeds of doubt. That's key number 2. Key number 3, ride the Woobs wave. Woobens Pacius. Now, I can tell you, as someone who is lucky enough to spend time around this club and around Tim Hortons Field, being able to watch them train and whatnot, the attention that Pacius has gotten, the last time Forge garnered attention like this was ahead of their match with TFC, when they were starting to get some national attention. Pacius is getting international attention. I'm just going to tell you that. A lot of people want to talk to Pacius. He is the most popular guy on Forge right now. Even, when kids come in and youth programs come in and camps and school kids, everyone wants to meet Pacius. They want Pacius's autograph. He's the star right now. And get the ball in his foot. I mean, I don't know what the lineup's going to look like Friday. Bobby doesn't typically divulge until, about an hour before kickoff. But if Woobens, whether he's starting or regardless of how he's used, ride that wave. Get the ball into his feet. Woobens doesn't need a lot of time. He does not need a lot of space. Quick check on the scoring race right now. Pacius is 3 goals back of Diaz, who he's been chasing for a couple of weeks now. Diaz, though, I always have to remind you, played almost more than 400 more minutes than Pacius, played an extra game. Pacius, by the way, shooting, he's at 69%. He's been hovering around 70 for a while now, which is unbelievable. It means if Pacius gets a ball on his foot, if he gets a chance, chances are he's going to score. I mean, his shooting percentage would indicate that he's going to score way more often than he doesn't if you get the ball into his feet into the dangerous areas. So ride the Woobs wave. That's key number 3. And those are your keys to the match. However, wherever you get your Forge content, subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. You can also check us out on social media. Cavalry Forge out in Alberta, 9:00 Friday. I'll be watching. I know you will too. I know you will too. Also, don't forget. I'm so excited I can barely speak. Don't forget, our match day preview is available. Behind the Beard, available this week. In-depth chat with Bobby Smyrniotis. Also focus on Forge, and this week's focus was on Abu Sissoko and his initiative and his family's initiative in Mali to get clean and accessible water to the people there. And after the Cavalry Forge match, be sure to check back for the match in review. All right, enjoy.
Forge FC is ready, and now you are too. This has been 3 Keys to the Match on the Forge Audio Network. Keep up to date on your Forge FC by subscribing to the Forge Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.